Welcome back to the grading series here on Loop Theme Park Adventures, where we look at 5 key sets of criteria that impact on your theme park experience and give each of them a grade from A+ to F-, followed by an overall grade at the end. In today's video, I'm grading probably the best known theme park resort in the UK, Alton Towers in Staffordshire, based on visits on Friday the 17th and Monday the 20th of July 2020. Does Alton Towers have the best collection of roller coasters in the UK? Probably, with a definitive Big 7 that includes Nemesis, Europe's first B&M inverted coaster that's still considered as one of the best of its type in the world. Oblivion, the world's first vertical dive coaster also manufactured by B&M. And the third and final B&M on site is Galactica, formerly known as Air, which was the world's first B&M flying coaster. You're probably noticing a trend of world and European firsts here, which has become a bit of a staple of Alton Towers, and specifically their secret weapon projects. However, the trend was bucked in 2005 when the park opened Rita, an off-the-shelf Intamin launch coaster, to very mixed feedback. Secret Weapons service was resumed in 2010 with 13, the world's first roller coaster to feature a drop track element, which was manufactured by Intamin. And then in 2013, Alton Towers smashed another world record, which still remains today, with the Smiler, a Gerstlauer Infinity coaster which holds the record for the most inversions, turning guests upside down 14 times. And finally, their newest major investment, Wicker Man, a GCI wooden roller coaster that was the world's first coaster to combine wood and fire, or something. This was a rather more tenuous attempt to secure a world's first than the far more definitive previous offerings. Sitting somewhere between the Big 7 and the gentler attractions is Spinball Whizzer, a Maurer ride spinning coaster. Alton Towers has 4 major family sections of the park. CBeebies Land, which is a large section near the entrance of the park, which features a whole host of attractions themed to many of the favourite children's BBC programmes and characters. Katanga Canyon, home to the Congo River Rapids and Runaway Mine Train, and some of the biggest pops of nostalgia in the park. The music, the walk down the side of the rapids, this is an area of the park that always puts a smile on my face. Mutiny Bay is the pirate themed section of the park and features numerous family flat rides, a splash battle and the Sharkbait Reef Sea Life Centre. And finally, the world of David Walliams, an area replacing Cloud Cuckoo Land, which was due to open this year but has been delayed until March 2021 due to the pandemic. There are 2 dark rides on site. Hex, which uses the historic towers and local folklore to present a story and experience unique to the park, and Duel, which is a Mack Rides track dark ride which allows you to shoot ghouls and ghosts with your laser gun. Enterprise represents the one remaining thrilling flat ride, unless you count Blade. Something I feel the park needs to remedy following the closures of Submission and Ripsaw. Transport to the distant lands of Forbidden Valley can be taken courtesy of the Skyride system, which also provides great views of Alton Towers' vast gardens. And finally, there is the Alton Towers Dungeon, which is an additional cost to your ticket. Grading this an A-. The collection of roller coasters on offer here is probably the best in the UK, and there is now a huge amount for families and younger guests to do as well, which will be increased further in 2021 with the opening of the world of David Walliams. However, the lack of flat rides and filler attractions does knock the grade down slightly. Alton Towers benefits from its natural landscape as well as the historic beauty of the towers themselves. It has a very traditional theme park Main Street style entrance that provides a great view of the towers as guests enter the park. Alton Towers is split into numerous different themed areas such as X Sector, Forbidden Valley, Katanga Canyon, the Dark Forest, Mutiny Bay and CBeebies Land, all of which have a clear identity and for the most part rides that fit within the theme. The expansive gardens can also be explored on your visit and provide some welcome downtime and a change of pace. The gardens are very well maintained and could be considered an attraction in themselves. It is on the whole a very picturesque and pleasant park to be in. It's generally clean and tidy and where required, keep left signages in place on walkways to encourage social distancing. This also gets an A-. Alton Towers is an incredibly photogenic park, complemented by its huge and very well maintained grounds. The rides are mostly kept in good condition, and when you're not chasing around trying to ride as many coasters as possible, it is a nice and chilled place to be. On the days we visited, the park was very busy and felt like the capacity had been set a little too high, making social distancing challenging in many queue lines despite the markers being in place. All rides had hand sanitizer stations at the entry and exit to queue lines, and masks were mandatory on all of the roller coasters. Temperature checks were taking place on entry to the park. Ride information and park map are available on the Alton Towers app, which you're encouraged to download for your visit while physical park maps are not currently available. With the monorail being one of the attractions currently out of service, you do have quite a walk from the car park to the entrance, although if you're staying on site at one of the hotels, you can access the park via the Forbidden Valley entrance. Ride wait times were generally high, the likes of the Smiler, Wicker Man and 13 peaking at 2 hours. However, the higher capacity coasters such as Nemesis and Oblivion were eating through the queues, so wait times for those were not quite as bad. We found that ride times listed on the app were a bit hit and miss, so I recommend using these as a rough guide rather than taking them as gospel. Ride staff were doing their best to keep queues moving though, batching guests quickly and not allowing separate queuing for front rows. Each ride would be paused every 30 minutes or so to be cleaned and sterilised. This gets a C+. While effort has been made to keep guests safe and ride staff were doing their best to keep the ride times down, it felt like there were far too many on park to feel completely safe and comfortable. Food options were limited, with quite a few of the better dining outlets not available. Instead, Alton Towers favoured opening the food shacks and stalls, providing options such as burgers, wraps, hot dogs and nachos. In many parts of the park there was only limited outside seating. We found the best options were located around the Mutiny Bay area of the park, where you also have the courtyard to sit and enjoy your food. The roller coaster restaurant was only available to hotel guests from 4 PM who had pre-booked a table, and the majority of the other sit-down restaurants such as Woodcutters were either not open or not serving food. Pizza and pasta buffet was open, but after our experience at Chessington we decided to give this a miss. The majority of the restaurants based in the hotels were open and serving. Giving this a C grade. Like most parks at the moment, only a limited selection of dining options are available, and many of those are serving average food at inflated prices. A day ticket when booked in advance costs £34, which rises to £53 if you book on the day. You can also purchase a season pass from £53. There are numerous multi-day options if you include a hotel stay, but the price varies quite wildly depending on when you plan to visit and how far in advance you book. We actually booked very early in the year for a June visit, which got cancelled due to the pandemic, so paid a fairly reasonable £80 each for 2 days on park and a night at Splash Landings Hotel. All hotel bookings include a complimentary round of extraordinary golf. Food prices are broadly what you would expect at a UK theme park, and merchandise, of which there are plenty of options available, is generally priced similar to high street level and features everything from clothing to resins, stationery to soft toys, and even the recently released Alton Towers soundtrack. Fast track packages are available on the website starting from £28, and photo digipasses are £20 for a single day, with a second day option available for an additional £10. On-ride photos, when bought on site, cost £10 each. Grading this a B. Getting the best value for money at Alton Towers is all about when you book and when you visit. For families, it can be a really expensive day out or short break, but if you have the flexibility to visit off-peak and plan well enough to book months in advance, then you can find some really good deals. Overall, Alton Towers gets a B+. It's probably the premier theme park in the UK when you consider the overall package of the ride lineup, the gardens and the all-round experience. Had the capacity been set at a more sensible level and had more dining options been available, then this probably would have been in the A grade territory, but I think B+ is a fair grade for our experience across the 2 days we visited. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and get involved in the discussion in the comments below. If you'd like to follow our theme park adventures, then subscribe to the channel and enable notifications. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/looptpa and on Instagram @looptpa.